Sydney is known for its intricate architecture and design, from the Sydney Opera House to the multitude of parks inside of Sydney. But to understand how this all came to be, you have to go back 60,000 years to when the Aboriginals first arrived at Australia. The Aboriginals, also known as the first Australians, were a tribal folk who came from Africa to Australia around 60,000 years ago. Things to note about these people was that they are still alive today. They made markings on rocks and made it easy to date back to when they came here. They were professionals of agriculture, and they had many tribes and over 700 dialects. On the 26th of January 1788, the first fleet arrived at Sydney Cove. They established the first penal colony that Britain made in Australia, known as Sydney. They later founded the state-like colonies of Tasmania in 1825, Western Australia in 1829, Victoria in 1851, and the Queensland in 1859. Governor Lachlan Macquarie was the governor of New South Wales. New South Wales was the state-like province in which Sydney resided, so he had control over Sydney. During this time, he redesigned Sydney and encouraged numerous building projects which helped because more colonizers were going to come. In the 1900s, the main focus for Sydney was to modernize it. So during the 1910s to 1950s, when the World War was happening, this process was severely tanked. But this didn't stop things from like the Sydney Harbour Bridge from being built. Then, in the 1960s and the 1970s, the famous Sydney Opera House was finally built. Common things that are celebrated in Sydney nowadays are the Aboriginal people and Australia Day, which is not the Independence Day, because the Independence Day is on March 3rd, while Australia Day is the day that marks when the British came to Australia and made their first colony, known as Sydney. If you want to go to Sydney, I'd recommend going any time of the year because it has a warm summer climate and a mild winter climate. I chose Sydney because it was a place that I knew about for the most of my life, but I didn't know a lot about. So I used this chance to learn more about Sydney.